Hello you guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet a little dog sweater. I have my little model Georgie over here. Let me bring him. Georgie. Here's Georgie, and this is the little sweater I'm going to show you how to crochet. They're just very comfortable for your little pets, for your little dogs, and sometimes you have a rare shaped dog, I suppose, because it's really difficult for me to find sweaters for him because he's really long and he's really skinny, so it makes it difficult to find him. So I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this little dog sweater, and as you can tell by the time of the video, it's a long video, so maybe you can just watch it in sections and little by little just get tips for creating a little, or yeah, for crocheting a little sweater for your little dog at home, and it just keeps him nice and warm during the winter. So let's get started with this crochet dog sweater tutorial. What you're going to need to create the little doggy sweater is a yarn. I'm going to be using two different colors, but you basically just need one. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, and you're also going to need a crochet hook. I have my little model Georgie here, and what I want to do is I want to measure under his front legs. So I've pre-cut a piece of yarn. I'm going to slip it under his front legs, and I'm going to just measure around. And I want to make sure that it's comfortable enough to put your fingers through so it won't be so tight and it also won't be so loose. So I'm going to place my finger there, remove the yarn, get my scissors, and I'm just going to cut. And this is as wide as I know his little sweater is going to have to be. I have the pre-measured yarn here that I'm going to be using, and I know that's how wide around Georgie's sweater is going to have to be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the main source of yarn, and I'm going to get my crochet hook, and let me zoom this a little bit closer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my hook, rotate it around, making sure it's nice and hooked. With my other hand that I'm holding the hook, I'm going to hold this little piece. It won't be for the whole time, but just for this little while. And I'm going to start a chain. So I'm going to place this around my crochet hook and bring it in through the little loop I've created. And I'm just going to continue doing this as long as I have the sample I took from Georgie. So I'm just going to keep going, doing this until I get to that size. My braid is as long as the sample I took from Georgie, so I won't need this anymore. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to the end of my little braid right there, and this is the other end. I'm gonna hook it around, hold it, and then I'm gonna come to the first piece of braid. I'm gonna put my hook in through the first one like that. And this one, these two that are laying over here, I'm going to wrap them around and basically do the same thing. I'm going to put them in between the three hooks. And that was supposed to go easier, but that's what I've done there. So now what I'm going to start to do, I'm going to wrap it around again and begin putting it in between each little piece of braid. And maybe I have to go a little bit closer. Let me show you guys a little bit closer. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm gonna hook it around like this, get the little piece of braid, put it in between, bring it in with the hook, in between the little loop, and there you see three. I'm gonna hook it up again and put the one I just hooked in between the three. So I'm going to continue doing that all around. I've already gone all the way around. What I'm going to do now is just start a new line. So I'm just hooking it in, wrapping it around, bringing it in the first little loop, bringing that in, and there you see the three again. I'm going to wrap it around and bring it in. And I'm just going to continue doing this all around this new line that I'm creating. I ended up doing 10 rows. This is as long as it is from Georgie's two front legs to the middle of his waist. Now I'm going to begin working on the little tail. So this is where I left off. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get my crochet hook, and all I'm going to do is backwards it. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go, I already have the last loop I ended in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loop it around and hook it one more time. I'm going to twist the sweater and begin working on the little tail. So I'm just gonna start doing the same exact thing. Looping it, hooking in the first one, and there's the 3, wrapping it around, and I'm just gonna start that new line. But it's not gonna keep going around, as you can see there. It's not gonna keep going around. I reversed it and I'm gonna start going backwards halfway. I'm gonna go backwards around this much, about this far, and then I'm gonna go back and here, go back and here, and I'm gonna continue doing about 5 rows of that. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add a trim color, and the trim color I'm gonna be using is this one right here. But if you're just gonna be using one color, then you could just finish it to the size of your dog. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring out this color. I'm gonna get the scissors to the blue one I used here. I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna bring in the new color. So I'm just getting the 2. I'm gonna loop them around my finger. I'm bringing them both in through the little loop. You guys could hear Kiko making all that noise. Okay, so there, then I'm gonna have the 2 little pieces. I'm just gonna press them together as tight as I can, and on this way as well. Tighten them out like that. So I'll just cut the excess. And there I've joined the 2 threads together. So what I'm gonna do here is where we're gonna be adding this new color, and I'm going to do a double there. I'm gonna flip the sweater around, and I'm just gonna start the trim in this new color. So this is gonna be the last row I'll be making. Just gonna go all around. Once I hook up this last one, I'm gonna make it pretty long. I'm gonna get my scissors and I'm gonna cut up to that area. So here we have what we're gonna be tying it up and finishing it off. I'm gonna loop this part in like that. And just for a little bit extra security, I'm putting this in just so I could bring this out through this side, and then I'm just gonna make a little knot. Just a regular little knot of 2 or 3. And that's the bottom little part of the sweater with the little different tones of blue trim. Now that we're done with the bottom part, it's time to calculate where you're gonna want the little front legs to go in through. We're gonna be working on that area. So I'm gonna start over in the outer area where I'm gonna wanna place it. I'm gonna get my multicolored blue tone yarn. I'm gonna be placing my yarn over in this area. I'm gonna get my little hook so it can help me hook it through like that. And these 2 little areas, I'm just gonna hook them in like that. So it'll be nice and secure. And I'm gonna have 2 little areas to work the chain with for a little bit. So I'm gonna get my hook. I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna loop the yarns together. I'm gonna wrap them around and begin a new chain. This chain is gonna be of 20. Once your little chain is done, what you're gonna do over in this bottom area, I like to wrap it around one time around your little hook, and you're gonna come to the second little hole, place it in there and just bring it out, and there you see the 3 again. Wrap it around and hook it in, and we're just gonna keep going straight, doing the same exact thing until we reach the other area where we're gonna wanna place the other front little leg. Now that I've reached that area, what I'm gonna do is another chain as long as the other one, which is a chain of 20. So I'm just gonna start going upwards instead of sideways. So I've finished off the little chain of 20. What I'm gonna do is the same thing I did on the other side. I'm gonna loop it around my hook. I'm gonna come to the little sweater. I'm gonna skip the one where I began the little chain. I'm gonna go to the next one, go in between with my hook, bring out the yarn, and there's the 3, wrap it around, and bring it in. And from here, I'm just gonna continue going all the way around the little sweater. Now I've come around all the way to where I made the first little leg chain. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna wrap it around my hook. I'm gonna come to the first little loop of the chain, put my hook in, bring in through the loop the yarn. There's the 3 again. Wrap it around and bring it in. And I'm just gonna continue doing this to our chain of 20 loops. Once I get to the end part of the little leg area, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna continue doing the same thing. I'm gonna wrap it around, bring it down to the loop, and just continue doing that till I get to the other little part where I'm gonna have to do the other little front leg area. Now I've gotten to the other little loop for the front leg, so I'm gonna do the same exact thing, wrap it around, find the first little hole of the little chain, stick my hook through there, bring in the strand of thread, there's the 3, wrap it around, and just hook it in. And I'm gonna continue doing that to this area of 20 little loops. I've already gone all the way around twice, so the little area where the little legs are gonna go in through already have the 2 rows. What I'm gonna do here is it's too wide, so I'm gonna have to start tightening it up with each little row we make. So what I'm gonna do here is it's the end of the second row in the little leg area. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wrap this around and I'm gonna go in through 2 holes instead of 1. So I'm gonna do 1, bring it in, 2. So I'm going into 2, so now I have 4 rows, and I'm gonna hook it in and just all of them put them into 1. So this entire row I'm gonna be doing this. So I'm gonna be doing the 4, then the next one I'm just gonna be doing 1 normally with the 3. I'm bringing it in. The next one I'm gonna be doing 2. So I'm gonna go in once, twice, there I have 4, wrapping it around, bringing it in. The next one's gonna be 1. The next one's gonna be 2. I'm gonna go in
Once
through
you get to the little leg openings,
what we're gonna do is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're not gonna be alternating between 2 and 1. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna loop it around, go in 1, 2, bring it in. There you see the 4, wrap it in and bring it in. We're gonna do the same thing to both the little front leg openings, where it won't be alternating, just 1, 2 on each one of them. Once you come to the end area where you were doubling, you're gonna come to the back area again, and we're gonna start alternating again. We're gonna start with 1, 2, then 1, 1, 2, then 1. So the first one would be 2, so we're gonna wrap it around 1, 2. There you see the 4, you're gonna wrap it around, bring it in, and for the next one, it would just be 1, there's the 3, bring it in. The next one would be 2, 1, 2, there you have the 4, bring it in. The next one, 1, and we're gonna continue that pattern. Once you get to the little front leg area, again, we're gonna stop alternating and they're automatically gonna be of 2. So we're gonna do 2 and loop them in. And we'll be doing this to both the little front leg openings. In between the 2 little front legs, we're just going to do the alternating. So we're gonna do the 1, 2, bring it in. The next one will be a 1. And we'll continue this pattern until we get to the other little leg opening. Now we're in the back area again, so I'm gonna start the 1 and the 1, 2. 1, 1, 2, 1. And as we're doing this, it's becoming tighter and tighter for the neck area. That's what we want. well, we don't want the neck area to be too tight, but it had to start getting smaller and smaller, and that's how we're gonna achieve that. So we're on 1, 2, so now this one's a 1. And once we get to the last little arm area, this is when you begin to check whether it's already tight enough for your dog's neck. You don't want it to be too tight, whether it's big enough for your dog's neck. This is still too big for Georgie. So I'm gonna have to go around doing the same thing again, and just over the little arm area, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a normal row. So it's just gonna be a 1 on each one. As you can see, I'm coming in towards the neck and it's becoming smaller and smaller. What I'm gonna do with this row is I'm gonna do 2 singles and 1 double. So I'm gonna do a single, another single, and 1 double. So it's going to be a single, and the next one will be 1, 2, a double. So I'm just going to do this all around. Once you see that it's the exact size you want around your dog's neck, you can stop there and just continue doing a single all around until it's long enough. I'm done doing the little neck area, so what I'm going to do to finish it off is the same thing I did to the bottom of the little sweater. So I'm going to clip it off in that area. I'm going to get the loop, bring it in through the loop, and tighten it. And what I like to do, just so it could be extra safety so it won't fall apart, and I've never had none of their little sweaters fall apart, I'm going to make 3 knots. And I'm gonna fold the little sweater area part, the little top area, turtleneck area, and there you have the little turtleneck area. I'm gonna come to the bottom part of the sweater. I'm gonna get my hook, and I'm gonna hook this in so I can start again. And this is just the last part, so I'm gonna tighten it. Once you have your 2 strands of yarn, you're going to get your hook, bring it in through the little hole, and hook the 2 little yarns and bring them in nice and loosely so that you can place the other 2 little yarns in between like that. So what we're going to do is just begin going around the little arm area and tightening it up. So I'm going to go in through here, bring it in, and we're going to go into 1, 2, the 1, 2 mode again, and bring them all together. And I'm going to continue doing 1, 2 all around the little leg area. Once you get to the last little loop, we're going to do the same thing. Get the scissors, cut off that piece, and we have the 2 little last ones. I'm going to loop it in between and pull. And you see how that just made it a little bit tighter, and this looks really cute when they're running around. That little sort of like ruffle, it just looks really cute, especially on if you have a little dolly running around, a little girl. So I'm gonna come in between here, and I'm gonna try and make, or not try, I'm gonna make a knot. So I'm gonna make the 3 knots here.